control, that's selfishness, that's entitlement. This woman is a monster.
You're basically saying you're a liar. You misrepresent who you are.
Because people are so angry.
She seems like kind of a jerk. Wow, she's like kind of a bully. She's rather mean.
In the court of public opinion, they've lost.
Blake Lively, the actress who once charmed her way into the hearts of millions with her breakout role as Serena van der Woodsen in Gossip Girl, and later solidified her status with films like A Simple Favor, is now facing a storm of controversy that threatens to undo her once stellar reputation. From lawsuits to fan backlash, her Hollywood fairy tale is unraveling at an alarming pace. She was once seen as a golden girl, beautiful, talented, and married to fellow superstar Ryan Reynolds, destined for a long and celebrated career. But now that image lies in tatters, replaced by accusations of deceit, manipulation, and desperation. How did it all go so wrong? The answer lies in a series of missteps, legal battles, and a tidal wave of public and industry rejection that have turned her story into one of Hollywood's most dramatic cautionary tales.
I mean, like, this man, guys, is loved, absolutely adored. I have not seen a single person say a negative thing about him. I know a few people who have worked with him. They absolutely adore him. He is apparently just a gem of a human being, a great actor, a great director, wholesome, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
This is insane. What are you talking about? She genuinely is not aware of how insane she sounds.
It all began with a bombshell lawsuit that caught the entertainment world off guard. Justin Baldoni, a relatively unknown director best known for his work on 5 Feet Apart, sued Blake Lively for an eye-watering $400 million, accusing her of defamation and exploiting the Not a Me Too movement to falsely portray herself as a victim. The lawsuit stemmed from a specific incident. Lively had allegedly claimed that Baldoni exhibited inappropriate behavior during the production of a project they worked on together. Accusations that Baldoni vehemently denied. He didn't just fight back with words, he came armed with receipts, including unedited text messages, emails, and witness testimonies that painted a very different picture from Lively's narrative. These documents suggested that Lively's claims were fabricated or exaggerated, designed to damage Baldoni's reputation while bolstering her own image. The filing of this lawsuit was a seismic shift, transforming Lively from a beloved figure into a polarizing one almost overnight as the public and media began to question the authenticity of her persona.
That's insane and that's crazy. And this is a reason why I think in the future people are just not going to work with her, because it's starting to add up. People are realizing that this is a pathology. And note the consequence has been terrible for Blake and Ryan in terms of people following them.
In a desperate bid to reclaim control of the narrative, Blake Lively turned to Nick Shapiro, a former CIA agent who had reinvented himself as a crisis PR specialist known for handling high-stakes situations. On paper, it seemed like a bold move to bring in a heavy hitter to repair her tarnished image, but in practice, it backfired spectacularly. The decision to hire someone with such an intense background raised eyebrows and fueled speculation. Why would Lively need a CIA-level operative if she had nothing to hide? The internet pounced, with commentators and fans alike mocking the move as over-the-top and theatrical. To make matters worse, Lively's own attempts at damage control flopped. She issued a series of public statements that tried to downplay the lawsuit and reframe herself as the wronged party, but they were met with skepticism and derision. Social media users dissected her words, pointing out inconsistencies and accusing her of crocodile tears. What was intended as a strategic recovery spiraled into a PR disaster, amplifying the negative attention and cementing the perception that Lively was scrambling to cover up the truth.
While Team Blake Lively may think they have the upper hand, sources say she has no idea what's coming regarding her battle with Justin Baldoni.
And he never once blamed himself. He never once gave a reason for why he wasn't doing it initially.
Blake Lively's once adoring fan base, which had cheered her through red carpet appearances and blockbuster roles, turned against her with a vengeance. The backlash was swift and brutal. In just a few weeks, she lost over 864,000 Instagram followers, marking the largest drop in her social media following in half a decade. The fallout didn't stop with her. Her husband, Ryan Reynolds, a beloved figure in his own right thanks to Deadpool, saw his own follower count plummet by nearly 400,000 1,000 as fans began to associate him with her actions, fairly or not. Social media became a battleground, with hashtags like #Blake Lively canceled trending alongside scathing posts. A viral tweet that read, "Blake Lively's true colors are showing and they're not pretty," racked up thousands of retweets and likes, encapsulating the growing sentiment against her. Where fans once saw authenticity and charm, they now saw hypocrisy and betrayal. The court of public opinion had delivered its verdict, and Lively was left on the losing side, her once solid support base reduced to a fraction of its former self.
There's a lot of comments that she puts in here that you're just like, why would you want to take over someone's movie? The outfits in this end are so out of touch. No, we don't want to watch bullies like Blake. There's a version of this where Justin Baldoni was just Michael Scott in The Office, where he's just saying inappropriate things, but not with any ill will. But Blake Lively, much more different culturally, more about the power and thinking that this is about the feminist Me Too movement. And how dare you do this?
The defining moment of Blake Lively's downfall came with a single striking image, a Hollywood Reporter cover that depicted her launching a slingshot at Justin Baldoni. The illustration was stark and symbolic. Lively, poised with a determined expression, aiming directly at Baldoni, who appeared defenseless. It was a visual metaphor for her alleged attempts to sabotage his career while protecting her own, and it hit the public like a thunderbolt. The cover didn't just expose her tactics, it obliterated the victim narrative she'd clung to, replacing it with a portrayal of her as the aggressor. The internet went wild, with the image shared endlessly across platforms like Twitter and Instagram, accompanied by hashtags such as Blake Lively exposed and Hollywood takedown. Memes and commentary flooded feeds, with one user quipping, "The slingshot says it all. Blake's been aiming at the wrong target." The cover became an indelible symbol of her undoing, and her career took a steep nosedive as the public digested this damning portrayal.
I will happily participate in releasing any further leaks that they have, because the truth should be out there.
Even if Justin was too huggy or whatever the heck, or said she was sexy, none of this warrants this. And you still have to atone for what you did.
Hollywood, an industry known for its fickleness, wasted no time in turning its back on Blake Lively. Insiders and major media outlets began to distance themselves, with reports emerging that studios and producers had quietly blacklisted her from upcoming projects. Once a sought-after name for roles in romantic comedies and thrillers, Lively found herself persona non grata, with whispers that she'd been dropped from several high-profile films in pre-production. Even her Hollywood friends, those A-listers who had once posed with her at galas and praised her in interviews, began to pull away, offering no public support as the controversy grew. An anonymous industry source told a trade publication, "Blake's become radioactive. No one wants to touch her right now. The risk is too high." The shift was stark. The same industry that had once celebrated her as a rising star with limitless potential now viewed her as a liability, her professional network fraying as quickly as her reputation.
You're basically saying you're a liar. You misrepresent who you are. Maybe that has something to do with why you're now being sued for promissory fraud, because you're admitting that you go in there.
Now the Hollywood Reporter has seemingly outed the two actresses' names. They're pretty much being bullied to respond.
As the legal proceedings unfolded, Blake Lively's case began to crumble under the weight of evidence presented by Justin Baldoni. He brought forward unedited text messages, emails, and affidavits from colleagues that directly contradicted her claims of mistreatment, revealing what appeared to be a calculated effort on her part to mislead the public and the court. One particularly damning exchange showed Lively crafting a narrative that didn't align with the timeline or facts, suggesting she had manipulated events to cast herself as the victim. The revelations were a gut punch. Her attempts to rewrite reality were exposed piece by piece, leaving her defense in tatters. The courtroom became a stage where the truth was laid bare, and the public watched as her carefully constructed image unraveled. Legal analysts noted that Baldoni's evidence was airtight, and with each hearing, Lively's credibility took another hit, further solidifying her downfall in the eyes of both the law and her former fans.
While he is suing Blake Heard for $400 million, as well as her publicist and her husband, he is also suing the New York Times for a lot of money. A representative for the uncredited director of It Ends With Us has confirmed that she has hired a crisis PR expert. and one with very questionable experience and ties and opinions.
Blake Lively's Hollywood fairy tale has come to a crashing, ignominious end. From the explosive lawsuit that started it all to the fan backlash that stripped away her support, her career lies in shambles, a shadow of its former glory. Hollywood, once her playground, has turned its back on her, with studios and peers alike shunning her in the wake of the scandal. There's no comeback in sight, no redemption arc waiting in the wings to restore her to the pedestal she once occupied. The once beloved actress, who graced magazine covers and dazzled on screen, is now a cautionary tale of how quickly the industry can turn on its stars when the veneer of perfection cracks. In an era of social media scrutiny and instant accountability, Lively's story serves as a stark reminder. The truth has a way of surfacing, and those who try to outrun it risk losing everything they've built.